fellow diamond painting addicts, and welcome back to Diamond Painting Anonymous. I'm Daphne, and I'm here today for what looks like a whip and chat, but isn't. I do want to work on my kit while I'm working, and so you guys have said you'd be open to more whip and chats. This isn't quite a whip and chat, but I thought I'd share with you today what I consider 5 hot takes for my diamond painting. Maybe I'll throw in a few bonus ones if I remember to do that at the end. So let me zoom into where I'm going to be working. You can just listen along like it's a whip and chat or a podcast, or you can grab yours. This isn't going to be as long as a traditional whip and chat, so do what you will. Be right back. This isn't, like I said, going to be like a traditional whip and chat, I guess. I've been trying to come up with some ideas for other things to talk about other than my diamond painting life and my personal life, but I still want to keep it diamond painting related, right? That's what we're all here for. I actually wrote this down quite a while ago and I just hadn't found the time to do it, and this seemed like the good time. So 5 what I'm calling hot takes about diamond painting. And I just sat down and kind of tried to write a list of what are things that seem to be ubiquitous. Like if you talk to someone who diamond paints, they'll make these generalizations, oh, everybody, blah, 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 whatever the case may be. I don't think I fit that scenario very well in a lot of ways. Maybe I'm leaning into those generalizations a little too hard as well. So I'll be curious. You guys leave me comments and let me know if you agree or disagree with any of these hot takes. These are in no particular order, just as I thought of them, I guess. The first one for me is that I don't really care whether drills are resin or not. What I typically care about is, are they good quality? You can get good quality acrylic drills. I know there are people who will say that resin drills are shinier, they're easier to work with. I mean, maybe. I have never noticed that much of a difference. I will say that you can get poor quality acrylic drills, and those poor quality drills tend to be the ones that are misshapen, have a lot of tabs, cause a lot of popping, are hard to work with, etc. But you can also get some good acrylic drills. It just depends on the company and where they're purchasing them. And I have gotten good drills from companies that were not that big. I've gotten bad drills from big companies. Sometimes I think it just depends on the luck of the draw. Maybe there was a bad batch of manufacturing one day. So even if they're resin drills, maybe they aren't quite perfect. Also, sometimes it's really hard to know when you're getting the drills from. Like I ordered this kit yesterday, but it's a kit from 2 years ago. So am I getting drills from 2 years ago? Have they made any improvements? And it's a new production run of this kit. Sometimes there's no way to know that because, of course, the companies don't want to tell you because then you might not want to buy it. So for me, that tends to be why I stick to the companies that I've purchased from before. Because if you purchase from someone, you get an idea of the quality, so you can be fairly certain that you're going to get at least that quality with the next one, if not better, right? But again, I've gotten some decent acrylic drills. So for me, whether they're acrylic or resin does not matter nearly as much as if they're good. I will take good acrylic drills over crappy resin ones any day of the week. It used to be a really big thing when I first started diamond painting, so I don't know if it's still as big a thing. I don't see it around as much anymore, but that could be for other reasons as well. So that's my first hot take. My second hot take is that I admit I prefer rounds. I've said for a long, long time that I was an equal opportunity diamond painter, and it doesn't bother me one way or the other. And it honestly doesn't bother me one way or the other. I'm perfectly happy to do squares and rounds. The thing with squares for me is they just seem to take longer. For whatever reason, my brain spends more time fussing over, well, this isn't perfectly straight with square drills than it does with round drills. I don't know if that has something to do with the fact that I started with rounds before I moved into squares. I mean, there is maybe some truth to if you start with squares and you get used to it, then that's the one you prefer. I started with rounds, so maybe that's just what I learned to prefer. But for me, and again, I have considerations that you guys don't, for the channel purposes, doing things more quickly means I have more content for you guys. And I know that everybody has said that they don't mind just me doing the same kit and talking about, whip and chat all week or whatever. However, as I've said before, my life is not that exciting. For example, today I went to the grocery store and the dentist. That's about the most exciting thing that happened. So I don't think I can turn that into a week's worth of whip and chats. So I have kind of gotten to the point where I prefer rounds just because they're faster for me, which means I'm going to finish something faster, which means I'm going to have more content for the channel. And I've heard lots of people have opinions about squares are better because they cover the whole canvas. And for a mystery kit, I might agree with that. But when you're talking about a canvas like this, where the colors are printed behind it and everything, for me personally, I just don't see that it makes that much of a difference. Whether or not it's covered by the squares and the rounds is not a big deal to me. What's more important to me is the time that it takes. Hot take number 3 is that I prefer to work on a flat surface. I have tried an angled drafting desk and I absolutely hated it. I hated that everything was on a slant. It constantly felt like everything was sliding out of the way. And for me, having to hold my tray at an angle the whole time just put a lot of stress and strain on my wrist with my carpal tunnel. I did not find it comfortable. It was not comfortable on my back or my neck and shoulders. I know a lot of people say that doing it at an angle is more ergonomic and relieves a lot of tension. I just have not experienced that. Maybe I will at some point, but for right now, I would rather work on a flat surface. I get everything laid out where I want it. I can see everything. I've got my adjustable desk that I can move up and down as I need to, although I find myself sitting more often than standing these days. But I just am more comfortable with it on a flat surface. And again, I know I've heard from lots of people who swear by their angled drafting tables. So if you use one, let me know. It's sort of along the lines of a light pad for me. I don't use a light pad in general either. I find it fatigues my eyes faster to use a light pad. I know a lot of other people's experience is the complete opposite, but this is a situation where my experience is the opposite in that I tried the angle drafting table and absolutely hated it. So I much prefer having a flat surface. Plus, that gives me more options. So I can take this pretty much anywhere as long as I've got a table. I can find someplace that's pretty comfortable for me to work. Whereas if I had to find someplace that had angled options for me, those would be a lot less. Okay, hot take number 4, and that is I tend not to follow the latest trends or the latest it thing, whatever that may be in diamond painting. I do try out some new things on the channel when I see them. I don't try out everything I see. There are some things that I try out and think, ugh, why did I do that? Case in point, the roller that I bought that I broke. And some of that may be due to how long I've been diamond painting now, because when I first started diamond painting, I bought everything. I bought the little multi-placer wheels, I bought the straighteners, I bought fancy pens, I bought all kinds of multi-placers, I bought all different kinds of waxes and putties and everything I could try. I did for probably the first couple of years that I diamond painted, and I spent certainly the first year way more money than I should have on things. But I did learn a lot about how I work and what I like and what I don't. I've discovered what multi-placers work best for me. I've discovered what kinds of putty. I prefer the putty and glue dots rather than the pink wax or other adhesives. There are a few things I still would like to try in that vein, but for the most part, I'm happy with what I've got and it works for me. And sometimes after you've been doing something for a while, it's more work to change how you're doing things. For instance, when my mom taught me how to crochet, she taught me to hold my crochet hook like a pencil. So I hold it like this. And that's how I learned to crochet. I have since seen so many people that hold it like this and crochet like this. I cannot do that. It does not compute with my brain. That's not the way that I learned, and so it just doesn't work for me. Doesn't mean that what other people are doing is wrong, just means that it's not the best way to do things for me. So for example, as much as I would like to pretend that I can have multiple whips going at once and it doesn't make me crazy, that's not true. And as much as I would like to use the tray and tower method to do really confetti heavy paintings, that's just never going to be the way that I work either. I get colors confused too easily. I confuse myself. I put things in the wrong place. So it's just better for me and my mental health if I do it the way that makes sense to me. Maybe that seems like extra work to other people. That's okay. I know there are things that other people do that look like extra work to me. Like for me, I always want my symbol on my lid because I diamond paint by symbol. So when I'm looking at the canvas, I'm like, oh, I need this blue triangle, and I go exactly to that. I'm not looking at the DMC code. I'm not looking at the serial number. But if I was using the serial numbers and just going by like, well, I need number 36. So I have to look at, well, what's this symbol? Then I have to go to the legend, find the symbol, find the number. Then I have to come back to my tray and find the number. Now, some people may find that that's easy. For me, that feels like an extra 5 steps that I just don't want to take. I'd rather just diamond paint by symbol. So, oh, I need this yellow arrow. Boom, there it is. And there were people that will think that I'm nuts because I am taking the time to open and close every single color when I could be painting out of trays. That's okay. We all do things differently. What works for one person may not work for another. That's one of the reasons I like to try different things, because you never know. Maybe one of these days I'll find a system that works better for me than what I'm currently doing. Hasn't happened yet. Also, one of the reasons people want to diamond paint is because they want that Zen feeling where you can just kind of let go of things and relax. And that can be hard to do if you're trying to figure out a new method to do everything while you're working. It just interrupts that flow state and makes it that much more difficult, I think. So that was hot take number 4. Hot take number 5. This one is hotly contested, and I know there are people who will tell me that I'm wrong. That's okay. You do you. If it works for you, I'm not the one diamond painting your photos, so it's fine. I'm going to diamond paint my kits the way that I want, and that is that I super duper dislike dryer sheets for dealing with static. Now, luckily, lately, I haven't had too much static to deal with. However, when I do have static, I reach for my trusty old static guard and a cotton swab. And I spray my static guard on the cotton swab and I swirl it around in the drills, and voila, no more static. To me, the static spray is way easier than laying out a dryer sheet, pouring all of my drills onto the dryer sheet, rubbing them all together, getting the dryer sheet gunk all over my hands. Yes, it gets rid of static. I'm not arguing that it doesn't. I'm just saying I personally don't like that method. I prefer my static spray because I can't stand the feeling of all of the gunk off of a dryer sheet on my hands. Also, I don't really use dryer sheets for my laundry. I've read too many reports where they basically gunk up your dryer and they can leave harmful chemicals on your clothes. So I try not to use dryer sheets at all, which means I generally don't have any laying around even if I wanted to use them. But my static spray is always handy, and it doesn't take very much, just a little bit sprayed on a Q-tip, and I usually am good to go. So those are my top 5 hot takes. I probably could have put one in there about not using a light pad because so many people think that I'm nuts for not using one. But again, like I said, I've used one for some projects. Both my Heaven and Earth that I've completed, I've used light pads because the colors on them are just so dark that sometimes it's impossible to tell what they are without the light behind the symbols. But again, not my favorite method for doing things. I find it makes my eyes really tired, and I just prefer not to use it. I will give you one other bonus one though, and that is that hot take. I've never bought a kit, a diamond painting kit from, well, I've never bought anything, period, I guess, from AliExpress or Temu or Shein or any of those places. Not trying to guilt or shame anybody. You do you. If you like those places and you enjoy the diamond paintings you get from them, you go. I just prefer to buy licensed art if I can, and I find that most places like Temu, it's not licensed art. It's like the budget diamond painting companies. Some of it may be AI, which is not a thing I want to do either, which means it's not a copyright violation if it's AI art. But yeah, I know a lot of people shop there because you can get lots of kits and get a pretty good bang for your buck. But I'm lucky enough to have a pretty good stash left, even though I'm working on getting it down, and I don't have the desire to shop for that. I'm trying to even not buy off of Amazon. I'm trying to buy directly from companies to support the companies and the artists those companies are supporting rather than a big marketplace like Temu or Amazon or someplace like that. So I'm really curious to see what you guys have to say about these hot takes. Am I standing on my own in left field out here because I don't do these things? Are you with me on some of them? Yeah, I'm just, again, always really curious to know your guys' thoughts and opinions. Some of you have been doing this for way longer than I have and have experienced more. Some of you are new to this, and because you're new, haven't experienced some of the things I have in the past, so maybe you have a different take on it as well. Always curious to know your thoughts, so leave me a comment down below. That's it for me today, guys. Thanks so much for sticking around till the end of the video. Before you leave, don't forget to do all the things. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification icon so that you can be informed of future uploads. And as always, guys, thanks so much for watching.